there's this wonderful combination of using YouTube for traffic and using YouTube for monetization on the platform. Once you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, YouTube will start paying you to be on. Like, for instance, I'm going to be paid to be on here. And then the combination of that plus a membership or an offer. Does not have to be a membership. That's like the easiest way to start a business, is to have a membership, a free membership. And if you're curious about how can you have a free anything and make money from it, that's what I teach. Do you think sharing your videos on your other social media sites help or hurt your algorithm on YouTube? I'm hearing different opinions. I don't know how sharing my video on Instagram is going to hurt my algorithm on YouTube, but I tell you what, I share clips from my YouTube videos on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on X, on Threads. I share it far and wide, because the more people who see you, the better. And not just who see you, they're getting an awareness of you. How many people here have been through something where like they just keep hearing about this one person, they keep seeing this one person, and then one day there's something about what the person said in the first 2 seconds, or something about a friend of theirs saying, hey, did you see this? And you're like, yeah, actually I recognize them. I see them all over, but I don't know them. That's the awareness that you are building over time. That is you building a personal brand over time, so that someone who really needs to see you that day has more awareness of you. Sometimes I'll even put the first few minutes of a whole YouTube video on Instagram. It doesn't hurt my YouTube at all, but I make YouTube my centerpiece. I do long form content, then I break it into pieces. So you can go to Opus Clips. You can take a link from your video on YouTube as long as it's public, and Opus Clips will make several clips for you that are vertical, so you can put them as a short or put them as a reel or a TikTok or this or that. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to do it horizontally, where I do that. I'm like, Instagram will let me do a 15-minute video? Bet. I'm going to do a whole 15-minute video straight from the file that I uploaded on YouTube. But that in itself, because I can write on it, and so when a few thousand people look at that, that is adding to it. And so over time, people need to spend hours with you to start to build trust. And if they see you over here and they see you over there, and then they spend a lot of time with you on YouTube, that's kind of the ideal recipe. What if I don't want to deal with people? Do you want to make money? You can make money without quote unquote dealing with people. I'm doing air quotes on the desk here. You can make money without dealing with people, but it's going to take extra effort. I don't like dealing with people that often either. Like, I don't go to the airport. That's the worst day of the week for me. Is the way that you make money is by serving others and by providing value to human beings. At least today. Maybe it'll be different in the future. So if you don't want to deal with people, there are certainly ways you could do that. But I would also try to reframe that into, can I start to look at that a little different? Are there a group of people I do want to deal with so that I can provide them value? Now, one quick hack is what we were talking about earlier. Start a YouTube channel, build that YouTube channel. So every time you post, once you're monetized, you'll make money. Learn from every video that you post so that you can get better and better at attracting people to watch it. You record by yourself, you upload by yourself, you put it out in the world by yourself. And you could do that without talking to one other human for the rest of your life. I posted a video on an error quarter I found, and it got 1,400 views in 3 days, but I didn't know what to do after that. That's very cool. Sounds like it's something that's resonating with people. If that's something that's interesting to you, to either talk about coins or to talk about rare finds or some sort of something, the way that you're presenting it. Look at your dashboard and look back at that video and see, what was your CTR? What was your click-through rate? Was it higher than 5% or lower than 5%? If it was higher than 5%, that means your title and your thumbnail are really interesting. Do something like that, replicate that for some other rare coin or some other rare find. And also look at your retention. How many people stayed to the very end? Was it more than 10%? If it was more than 10%, there's something interesting going on with the whole video itself. What was the length of the video? What did you say in the video? Did you walk people around? Did you show the coin only? Did you talk to the camera? What did you do to make the results happen that were good results? So you're studying it like a detective, and then you're thinking, okay, let me go and do another video that's similar to this this and see if I can get the same or better results. And then you look at those results and you compare those. And this is what you're doing in all of that downtime of nobody watching your stuff, or in your case, people watching your stuff, but then you keep going. So your goal is to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours so that you can become monetized on YouTube, which is what they need you to do to become monetized, so that the next time you have a 1,400 view video in 3 days, in those 3 days maybe you made $20 from that, and you start to add all those up over several days and several videos, you're making a few hundred a month, and then soon you're making a few thousand a month. I've been on YouTube for a few years, but obviously not doing enough of something to get the subscribers to grow the channel. Any idea on the surface, without seeing your channel, knowing anything about it, what do your thumbnails and titles look like? Are your thumbnails really busy? Are they cluttered? Are they small with a lot of content? Or is it very clear what the video is about every single time? Do they bring you in? Would it stop you in your tracks every single time? Do you go into your YouTube studio and look at the click-through rate, the CTR? Do you see what's good and what's bad? Do you study other people's channels? Do you film your video before or after you have your title and thumbnail figured out? You should film your video after you know the title and the thumbnail of the video. Is the subject of your channel interesting to a lot of people, or mainly to you? And if it's not like millions of people, even if it's niche, are there 10,000 people in the country who would care about it? Are people watching a lot of it? Are you only doing shorts? Are you doing longer form? Are you doing videos over 10 minutes so that people can sit with you and really engage? Are you starting your videos with, hey, everybody, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Hey, hey? And then maybe 20 seconds later, you're starting the video. If you notice my videos, when I start my videos, I start them like this. Ready? What if I told you? I start because we want to get that hook right out the gate. You want people hooked, so you want to get your hook right. You want to get right into the value, right into it, so they stay. YouTube is looking at all of these things, every single one of these things. And over time, they're seeing how they behave with your videos. You have to be the one who helps YouTube help you. I'm a tax resolution specialist. I help people resolve tax issues. Do you have videos that can help me find an offer that would work in this field? You have multiple ways you can have a YouTube channel, especially because there's so much bad information about personal finance and taxes on YouTube from just random people. So if you have like some receipts, no pun, if you have that expertise, and you can present it in a certain way, and you figure out a target audience, like I'm going to talk to this type of person, the more niche you can get, the better. One of my videos is doing really well where I say, if you're in your 40s, do this. And every single day, hundreds of people watch that video. And it has, more than 100,000 views, I think. And it's because I talk directly to them. I agree it will be successful. Thomas Edison states that he didn't fail 1,000 times. He just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. I was concerned if it's a matter of sharing your personal life is a factor. I don't think you have to share your personal life on YouTube or in your business to succeed. I think where people get confused is when you say your personal brand. You need to have your personal brand in order to succeed with your business. Now, I go out there and I give a lot and I tell a lot about my life. I talk about how I was homeless. I talk about how I used to be addicted to alcohol for 15 years and now I'm sober for 7.5. But even though I do all of that, you don't know 80% of what has happened in my life. You don't know 90% of the people in my life, because I am able to still keep things very private. I give you the perfect example. Gary Vee, if you don't know, is a very well-known marketer, business person, has a $200 million company or more. Yeah, y'all know him. What do his kids look like? How old are his kids? How many kids does he have? The reason you don't know that is because as much as Gary has a camera on him 24/7, he decides what part of his personal life gets shared and what doesn't. So if someone like that, who has thousands of videos on YouTube, has hundreds of millions of hours of content, if you don't know how old his kids are or what they look like, if you don't know that, then I promise you, it's going to take you a decade or more to reveal anywhere close to that. You want to share enough with your audience that they feel that they can relate to you, but have it be related to. So I have it related to my business because I'm talking about the lack of money. I'm talking about the fact that I didn't have money, and that was a huge problem for so much of my life. And I never want to be there again. So I'm teaching you. I went out and learned it, so I would never be there again. So I'm teaching you that. That's all part of my story, but it's all part of like for you, for the audience. I talk about the alcohol stuff because that's something I think might help somebody. But I have not told you not 80% of my life that you don't know. I have a lot of pre-recorded videos, and I'm wondering if I can upload those when I start my channel and also adding new ones each week. You can, but I want you to be very, very strategic in how you plan this. You're not just going to take any old video and throw it on YouTube and say, oh, I have content now and people are going to come watch that. People are discerning. You are discerning as a viewer. You care about how much time you spend watching something that you don't know about. So what you're going to do is say, what is my channel about? And what videos might I already have that would make sense for this channel? They have to be compelling. They have to be interesting. They have to add value to someone's day. And I'll choose those. So I may have 20 videos. I'm going to choose 4 because only those 4 fit the criteria. And then I'm going to take those videos, I'm going to edit them down. I'm going to start them not where they start today, because where they start today is probably not a good hook or a good intro. I'm going to find the place where it starts. I uploaded a video yesterday and I recorded a 3-minute thing where I talked about, what did I talk about? I talked about my painting, my painting for my Fast Company cover. I talked about Netflix and the artist, and I thought it was a great hook. And then I watched it back, and I'm like, that is boring the way I did that. I'm going to lose more people than I normally would. I'm cutting those 3 minutes, even though I cared about those 3 minutes and I planned for those 3 minutes, because I found that's not where the hook is. Instead, I put the hook at, we don't have time for imposter syndrome. Your time is now. More people than normal stayed through the first 30 seconds because I'm talking to them instead of meandering through what I think is an interesting story. So the answer is yes, you can upload old videos, but how are you going to craft them so that they are valuable to other people? How are you then going to get the great title and thumbnail that will get people's attention to even see them? Because if people don't come see them, it doesn't matter how good the video is. And how do those videos fit into what you're doing? My YouTube channel is for hobby artists and has grown to 13,000, but my art membership has not, despite good feedback. 16 pounds per month. How do I figure out what is wrong? That's great that your channel is at 13,000. It depends. How long did it take to get to 13,000? If it took a long time, it could be that a lot of your subscribers are not seeing your videos because they're from an older time. But if they're more recent, if you're seeing good views, because one thing you didn't mention were like the views. Subscriber numbers is amazing, but the views, how many views do you get? How often do you post? Is your offer, is your membership very similar to what you provide? This is why I teach having a free membership first, because then you don't have all this friction of, oh, I have to pay money every month. Instead, on your videos, you're saying this cool thing, and I have this freebie that you can go check out. You send people to the freebie, which is inside the free membership. They spend a lot of time in there. They watch your videos. After a while, you're then offering in the classroom, here's a $16 thing. Here's a $100 thing. Here's this thing, this package you need to get started. Instead of it being like, here's a video of me, go buy my stuff. People need to know. I have 2 YouTube channels. I'm not sure I should have 2. No, I think you should have 1 and just go all in on one of them for a good amount of time. A year is a good amount of time. And just go all in and just do the best you can and learn from it and make mistakes and do it better the next time. I would just do that. I would do that for sure. How can YouTubers effectively balance indoor content, such as close-up, intimate recordings in a home studio, with dynamic travel vlogs to enhance their channel's appeal and engagement? Sounds like you've answered that question. I would look at someone like in Arlan's All Access, Rachel Ray, R-A-I. She has her channel, her new videos. Sometimes she's in her office. Sometimes she's walking around doing on the go stuff. Look at Matt Gray. Matt Gray does about 10 million a year. A lot of times he'll get the selfie stick and he'll put his iPhone sideways and he'll walk us through the French Alps or somewhere in Colombia in some beautiful lush area. and he'll just talk to us. And then he'll come back to his desk and he'll talk there. So what I would do is I would study who's already doing that. Matt Gray is a great example of someone who does both. And Rachel is becoming a great example of that as well. If you need money and you're not on a phone call with an offer, I don't know what you're doing. It'll, at the very least, be able to tell me, hey, I just did 10 calls yesterday or the last 2 days and I didn't get anybody to buy. That is a problem in itself. We can figure that out. Okay, well, is it the offer? Is it the pricing? Is it how you're saying it? But if you don't even have the reps of, I didn't even try to do this on like do sales, then that's a problem. There's so many things you can do. I have a video, how to make your first 10,000, how to make your first 1,000. All that's found on this YouTube channel. And I talk about the many ways you can make a few $100s. I talk about bump sale. I talk about all these different ways. And your goal is to make enough money so that you're in an okay position, but that you can then reinvest some of that money into making more money. No matter what you do, whether you join Arlan's All Access or not, the one thing I can tell you is that money is on the other side of several phone calls. So do 10 calls, have those 10 calls, and convert one person. And every time you have a call, don't go into it saying I'm going to sell. Go into it saying I'm going to learn. I'm going to help. And when you get to the point where you realize, yep, I can help that person beyond this call, if they get my offer, then you offer them the offer with confidence. And then if they say no, which most of them will, clock it. Why did they say no? Can I ask them why they said no? Can I find out what the pushback was? Oh, can't afford it. Okay, interesting. What if I said I could give you a discount today? Can you discount it on the call with them to where you know you can discount it in good faith? Or it's not clear, I don't think I need it, or it's too hard, or then you adjust. Oh, you think you have to do too much work. Okay, what if this part were taken off your plate? Learn in each call. The person asked about sales conversion, why the conversion was low. Learn with each call, with each conversation. Learn, and then use that in the next call, and then use that in the next call. There's a founder that I know. She was in San Francisco, and she raised millions of dollars. But the way she did it was she would get these interviews and conversations lined up. She would have her husband, who was also her co-founder, drive. They would go into the meeting, and let's say it had 11 o'clock meeting. They would do their presentation. They would answer questions. They would talk. She would clock what questions were asked and exactly how the meeting went. Any pushback. She'd get in the car. Her husband would drive her to the next place. In the car, she would change the pitch deck. She would adjust this. If there was a question asked, she would answer it. If there was any pushback, she would explain it better. If there was anything that she knew, okay, they're going to wonder about this, the next meeting at 12, she would start off by addressing that. Now, I know that you think that this is a dying industry, but this is why it's not. So by the time she got to the last meeting, there was no pushback. That's what you got to think about in sales. It's not about, I desperately need this sale. I desperately need this person to say yes. It's, this is going to help me learn how to sell a ton more. So all this is like an exploratory call. I'm going to learn from this call. I'm going to help this person, and I'm going to take note and literally take notes. I tried with about 15 calls, got one appointment and no sale. Bombed. I need a better way to explain the value I would offer. A lot to unpack. First of all, when you tried for 15 calls, but you only had one. So that's one call. That's not 10 calls. So we got to get to 10 calls. And I thank you so much for sharing this because this is vulnerable, right? But you got to get to the 10 calls. Of course, 1 out of 1, who's going to get 1 out of 1? That's really almost impossible. So you want to get the 10 before you call it a day. Second of all, it really is about dialing in on that offer. What other people want, what other people are willing to pay for. A lot of times I'll talk to entrepreneurs who are working on something that is about self-help, and it's incredibly valuable and incredibly important. But what they don't realize is that's a self-help guru type has to build into that. You have to establish trust, and people have to start to understand the value you have. So when you're first starting, you have to think about, what would I pay for? Maybe I wouldn't pay for self-help in this moment because that's not a priority to me, but would I pay for something that helps me make more money? So could you for 2 months build something that helps people make more money, like an offer, help them set their YouTube up, teach them about monetization on YouTube? Could you do that day after day for 2 months? Build up your bank account and then pivot into the self-help part. This is just an example. Sometimes your offer is just not a good offer. Sometimes your offer is just not what people want. A good way to find that out is to find the people you want to serve, get them on calls, and ask them what they need and start to build an offer around that before you do any sales. My service is awesome, but above my pay grade. How do I get in the room with the people who would buy? That's where YouTube, I think, is really helpful because you don't have to have a network. to have YouTube go out and find the people for you. You just have to speak to those people. If you have something where the cost of it, let's say the cost of it is $5,000, then you want to have $5,000, $10,000 conversations on YouTube. You want to have titles and thumbnails and the concept of your video be about things that people who have $5,000 and $10,000 to drop talk about. That's one way, is reaching them, going to where they are so that you can start to attract them over time. Another way to do it is to go to conferences where people that you want to win over are attending and speaking. You can try to get a speaking role. That's going to be pretty tough starting out, so be in the seats. There's an entrepreneur I worked with named Dawn Dixon, and she ended up, being all over the place, podcasts, on stages across the world. She said, before I was on the stage, I was in the seats. When they have breakouts, who are you walking up to talk to? Who are you zeroing in on? Who are you studying? Free membership is also a fantastic way to do it, because if you offer something that's a freebie and you can start nurturing that and giving value, people are going to take note of that. I'm an artist, Milner, and clothing accessories of 30 years. How does the call relate to hands-on artists? Well, you're selling something that sounds like it's pretty custom and it's pretty precious and it's maybe expensive. So if I'm going out and I'm looking for something custom, I'm looking for a jacket, I'm looking for a hat, I'm looking for something even cooler than that, that's going to rhyme, cooler than that. I may want to feel a little special, and I may want to go to your website or to your free membership or to your link in your YouTube channel. And I may see a YouTube video of you taking me through your studio, talking about a very specific thing that you do. Not everything, but one thing, like I'm doing these tailored ... And you might say in that video, if you want one of 12 of these that I'm doing, if you want to commission them, you can look in the link in my bio, a link in my description. That link might link me to a Calendly that takes me to set up my Zoom call with you. And on that call, and what you're saying in the description is, we're going to have an intro call, or we're going to have a consulting call to see about your body type and your style to see if it's a fit. I might want to get on that call to see what you can do for me. I'm not very stylish. Maybe you can help. I then get on the call. And one out of those 10 calls, that's going to take some effort to get. But yes, if money is on the other side of that, take the effort. One of those 10 calls is going to say, this is great. I didn't know that about my body type. I didn't know that you had such craftsmanship. I didn't know ... I will pay the $1,200 that it costs to make that one-of-a-kind jacket that you just told me about. That's how you use calls that way. You make it bespoke. You make it like they're getting a consultation with you. You make it like you give urgency because maybe it's a certain time. If you want this by Valentine's Day, if you have a wedding, if you want this by your birthday, if you want it by this thing that happens to everybody, then you want to get your order in by this date because it'll take me that long to do it. It takes me 3 months to make each piece. So you have that urgency of time, that limited amount, which is also urgency, sales psychology. And you also make it very prestigious and elite, that I only have 6 of these calls per week. And you only should take the call if you can afford a $1,200 item. You want to talk to the person, talk to them as if they already exist in your audience. What should I do if I don't know what to do to be I'm going to assume you're saying to be my own boss and make money while being in a dead-end job? I think the easiest way to start, especially if you don't already have an audience, is to choose a platform like Instagram, like LinkedIn, like YouTube. I suggest YouTube because of the depth in the way that you can create this online real estate that helps you for years to come. But you can do something a little less daunting like Instagram or even LinkedIn, where the person asking earlier about not wanting to show their face, on LinkedIn, you actually could just do all text. But you choose one platform to be where you establish your expertise by posting content about a certain topic. And then you also use it to start to drive traffic to, this is the easiest way, I think. There are many ways to do it, but the easiest way is to drive traffic to a free membership on the platform that we use in Arlan's All Access. You use that platform, you start cultivating this free membership. You pay $100 a month for it, but it's free for the people joining. They start to know know each other. They're asking questions. They're going to your lives. Very special. You're putting freebies in the classroom, and they start to understand your expertise and your value. You're providing that value and you're driving traffic. And then from there, you can make an offer of something that is paid. And I do think there's a video I put out recently about making $5,000 in 7 days. It is about how you can sell something high ticket. Now, I talked to somebody today who they needed money even sooner than that, even sooner than cultivating a free membership, which I think is the best way to do it and the easiest way. So I said, get traffic to your Calendly or to somewhere where somebody can sign up to have a call with you or a Zoom with you, and you can get Zoom for free and have 40-minute calls for free. Have somebody get people on a call, get 10 people on a call, not in the same call, but one call per person. If you get 10 people on a call and you have figured out what you're going to offer them and you offer them something that costs $500, $300, $1,000, I would try to do $1,000 or more, but when you're just starting out, try something that's going to be meaningful to you. Get one of those 10 people to agree to it by providing value on that call. Can you talk about how to balance between not charging too little but also charging too much? How do you know where the sweet spot is when you're first starting out? What's really cool when you're first starting out with pricing, especially if it's something that is a higher ticket, is first of all, let's establish that it is easier to sell something that costs $1,000 to one person than it is to sell something that costs $10 to 100 people. It's easier when you're starting out to do that. So what most of us think is the opposite. We think it's easy for people to spend $10, so that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to put up a course. I'm going to put up something that's $20 and it's going to be easy, right? When you're first starting out improving yourself, it's easier to get one person who needs what you can offer, who is willing to spend that money, because to them, it's not that much money. That's what you want to find. The second thing is, let's assume that what you're talking about is something like $1,000 offer or more. The cool thing about just starting out is that you can do so much experimentation. So what you could do, first of all, I always suggest, if you don't know your pricing or if you're not feeling confident about your offer or your pricing, I would suggest that you offer it, you get a price, you say it's $1,000. You find someone, maybe an early adopter, someone who's shown interest, maybe even a friend, but I would say someone who really needs what you are offering, and you offer to do it for free. You tell them this is normally $1,000, and then I would like to gift this to you for free. It'll take 7 days to complete or whatever the case may be. All I ask in return is that you give me a testimonial if you enjoyed it, if it helped you, and maybe some feedback if you think that would help. Great. So now you can do the thing, test it to make sure it's valuable, get feedback, and have a testimonial to use that is more valuable than anything you'll say to somebody. Somebody talking about you is more valuable than anything you'll say directly. So when you do that, and you said it was 1,000, so you anchored it, maybe some of that real feedback from the person might be, I don't know if I would have paid $1,000 for that. I just want to be honest. It was helpful, but I think it might be a $500 thing. Or they may say $1,000 is a steal, and I think you're underselling yourself. They may say that. They may help you, or you may even just be able to figure that out based on the experience. Another part of the experiment that you can do is you can get on a call. Let's say you get on the first 10 calls or the first in-person meetings or the first 10 times you offer this to somebody. You know it's a $1,000 deal. You're on the call with someone. You're vibing. You know you can help them. You know that it's valuable. You say to them, it costs $1,000, but I have a special that's going just for the next couple of days for $300 if you buy it now. Do you want to start now? And then the next time you sell it for more, you sell it for $400 or $500. If you get a yes in the next few times, you may not get it the next one, but in the next few times, okay, somebody paid that. And then you could just go up and go up and go up. And then you're going to get to a number that is too high. People are going to say no over and over and over again. You're going to say, it's the price, because I know people want this. They have purchased it. That price, that $1,200, is not working for people. Let me go back to the 1,000. That's what you can do to play with that a little bit in experimentation, because it's your thing. You're delivering it. What would you recommend to use as a new client funnel if you have a website and 300 followers on Instagram? I would create a video and post it every day on Instagram so I could grow those follower numbers. I would have a call to action, and I use ManyChat, ManyChat, ManyChat.com. Set up an automation that when you say, hey, say the word bowl or pen or whatever in the comments, and I'll send you this freebie. Have a free lead magnet that gets DM'd to them on ManyChat. That lead magnet sends them to your free membership or takes their email address. Reach out to them by email once or twice a week. let them know that there's a freebie here, there's a free lead magnet, there's a free list, there's a free template, a script, something that works for them. Provide value, have a flywheel, put something out that creates traffic, send that traffic to something. Send it to your free membership that we talked about, or send it to a Calendly link where you can get on a call with them, or send it to your course that's online that's paid, or send it to your t-shirt that you're selling, or send it to have a call with me and we'll talk about what you need and I'll build out an offer for you. I would do that flywheel. What will you say to a 67-year-old woman that is a warrior and a fighter, but at this point doesn't know what to do, broke and no savings, no retirement? I will tell you that you're not alone. I will tell you that you're here for a reason. And I will tell you that in Arlan's All Access, whether you join or not, there are people in their 70s in Arlan's All Access. It's not too late. My mother at 74 launched her own eyewear line. At 50 something, she wrote her own book, and she was broke at 50 something. As long as there's a will, there's a way. And there's a lot of people who want to see you win. There's a woman I know on YouTube. You might have seen her. She does like recipes for beginners. And she just, one day her husband came in, started recording. She was at the kitchen. She started doing it. Her thumbnails are, you'll never see a Mr. Beast style thumbnail for this woman. It's just a picture of her in a kitchen, almost looks retro, almost looks like they're using a Super 8 camera, like an old school camera. It's just pure. She has more than 1 million subscribers. And it's because what she had to offer was valuable to someone. There are hundreds of millions of people who are on YouTube every single day. And as long as you can provide value to them or entertainment to them, which is value, by the way, then you can reach an audience. How do I overcome survival mode in my attempt to achieve more and build life stability? That fear of failure that comes from failing so much in the past. How do we persist anyway despite the fear? We're living beings and we have to live, we have to survive, right? That's what we're here to do. And there's so much to enjoy in life that can be overlooked when we're going through it. And believe me, I've gone through it. I still do. So what I do is, I know this is going to be a little cheesy, but this is going to be the first step for you, is I look for joy. I find joy every day, even when I'm having like a really, really anxiety-filled day or a stressful day, when the stakes are really high. And maybe I lose a lot of money, or I don't get the money that I thought I was going to, or maybe someone's sick in my family and I can't control it. I try to find those pockets of joy, even if it's small, like a little glimmer of hope. So I do that to remind myself why I'm even in the fight to begin with, why life is worth living. That reminds me. And then I think about, and I did this a long time ago, which is why I'm sitting here today, is I think about what if I can make this work? Like, yes, in the past it hasn't worked. And yes, in the past they said I couldn't do it. But what if I can make this work? Who gets to benefit from that, including myself? And then think about it. The third thing is, like, think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Who's in your ear? Who are you hearing from the most? Now, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. So we're the ones telling us that we can't do it. We're the ones with the fear. But a lot of times we don't even realize it. It's like frogs in a boil that are getting boiled. We don't even realize we're getting boiled. But we're surrounded by people who say we can't do it, because they're really saying that they can't do it. They're saying that it can't be done because they don't think they can do it, or they think it's stupid, or they think it's a lost cause, or they're afraid of it. There's a lot of fear that good intentioned people project on other people that they care about. But what do you want out of life? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want your headline to say? I say write your own headlines. In this book, It's About Damn Time, I have a whole chapter called Write Your Own Headlines. What do you want your headline to say in the newspaper, in the magazine? What do you want it to say about you in 5 years? What step do you take today to make that true in 1 year, in 5 years? Now, watch more of my videos. The person who asked that, watch some more of my videos, like Become Money, Get Paid to Exist, Success at What Cost. Watch my videos and we'll talk it through.